If you are trying to gain access into an organization, you must have to sign a paper, some kind of agreement that will bind you and the company together, stating the policy and the terms and the condition. If you're a musician trying to gain access into the record label, you must have to sign a record deal. But if you're an author trying to be published by a publishing company, you must have to sign a contract called a publishing contract. It varies from industry to industry, but at the end of the day, they all went on the same trajectory, which is agreement that will bind the signee and the company together. But you have to understand this: a good contract can open doors for you and open you up to some good opportunities and can even change your life. But while a bad contract is a bondage. Now you may be wondering, how do we know a bad contract and a good contract? And this is what we are going to delve into this video, using my own experience while I was trying to publish my book. In the year 2021, when I first finished my book and I was hugging it around from publisher to publisher, from literary agent to literary agent, trying to find a publisher that will give me the opportunity to publish my book, because I have studied myself and realized that I may be good in writing, I may be good in the creative part, but I may not really be good in distribution, in marketing, even though I studied marketing. All right, it may sound funny, but that is the reality. And all of those things, I just want to, to be able to create and then have somebody else handle the marketing and the distribution, the logistic and the business part of it, while I just create. All right, so that is just what I wanted. So I was trying to get a publisher that will publish my book. So, but as we know, in Nigeria, we don't have much publishers, we don't have much literary agents. So that pushed me forward in seeking help in the foreign countries like United States, Canada, publishers that are in other countries, in Western countries, because I perceive them to have so much opportunities for writers and for authors to publish their works. Because in Nigeria, we don't have much of publishers. Like, we have so many publishers, but they are not traditional publishers. While I was looking for a traditional publisher, you get me now? After coming across so many publishers and so many literary agents, and it was not going the way I really planned it to be, at the end of the day, I met this publisher that based in United Kingdom, that it's called Europe Book. It's a publisher based in United Kingdom that operates under a brand name Europe Book and has so many other branches across Italy, Spain, and Germany. So, and they reached out to me after I've submitted my book to them, and they were expressing their interest in publishing my book, and they were truly enthusiastic about my work. And after some days of communicating through email, so they told me that before we continue, they would like to have some word-to-word interaction with me in person. So that led us to have a phone call on WhatsApp. I could still remember that day vividly when they called me on Wednesday. They told me all the potentials in my book and how it would be a best fit for them to publish. You can't imagine, I was so much happy, because now think about it, you've been published by a multinational publisher, a publisher that has branches all over the world. I was so much happy. And apart from that, they have published so many other prominent people like Barack Obama and Pope Francis and so many other people. Then on that phone call, they told me that before they will commence anything, that I must have to sign a publishing contract with them. I said, okay, fine. So they told me that it will be ready in the few days coming. So it took them about a week. So they reached out to me and then sent me through email the publishing contract. It was about 5-page contract. Very interesting. So I went through the publishing contract, and it was really, really fascinating. I was seeing their promises, how they are going to publish the work, market it on their own, distribute it to about 4 countries, and then they would take care of the book fairs and the signing, and then I will come over. Like it was a whole lot of promises. I sent a copy of the contract to my sister to read. So we were very happy. Maybe this would be a windfall or kind of breakthrough. But at the end of the day, along in the contract, I began to see some of the things that I did not really believed in. So, but one of the major thing that I saw in the contract was when they said that the author would have to purchase certain copies of the book, of his own book, or pay the money in cash. It was about 200 copies of the book. So when I saw that, I was talking to myself, did this really make sense? An author, you purchasing your own book, about 200 copies, it doesn't really make sense. It didn't really make sense to me. Then my eyes was open to another trick and another scam in publishing contracts and in publishing industry generally, which is about hybrid or vanity publishers. These are the publishers that majorly prey on the author. They devour authors, like they take most advantage of the author. How they operate is that they will ask you for some upfront payment. But in this case, I understood the tactics that I would have to purchase a 200 copies of the book. But for me, that was a red flag. And immediately, I am telling you, my hope just went down drastically. I felt bad about it because I was realizing that I am not going to continue with this. I was looking for a traditional publisher, not this type of publisher that will be asking me to pay a certain amount just for my own book before my work would be published. It sounded so odd. As much as I know about publishing and about traditional publishers, they don't ask any upfront fees. It's just like you send your work, if they like it, they publish your work, and then they pay you royalties as they sell the book. But now, I understand these Europe publishers, what they did. I try to understand them in their own lane because they try to be on a safer side. They don't just want to jump into this business because publishers, whether you like it or not, they are businessmen. They are businesses. They want to make profit. So they're asking that upfront fees just in case anything happens. But this is the down part. The downside is that at the end of the day, if you really pay that amount of money, they will never push your work. That will be the downfall of your work. You have already started going down before you start. All right. So because when they have taken that money that you have paid as an author, they will not have the zeal anymore to publish your work. They will not have the zeal anymore, to push your work to be successful. At the end of the day, you will be the one to lose because you have already paid the money for publication. So that is what I realized on that. And then this is my answer to them. If there is no other way, I'm sorry, I can no longer continue with the contract. So they said, fine, they cannot bend their rules because of me. And that was the end of the conversation. So I felt bad losing that contract. But at the same time, I felt good because I did not fall prey. Because I am telling you right now, a lot of people have fallen victim of this kind of publishers. They have fallen victims, in the name of paying for so services, and at the end of the day, they will take advantage of you. And don't get me wrong, I am not saying that someone cannot self-publish. You can pay and your book will be published for you. So, however, this is one of the reasons that you must pay close attention to every contract that you are signing. Now, come to think of it, now, have you ever wondered what would have happened if I did not thoroughly read the paper, the contract, read it very well? Because this is the mistake that a lot of people used to have, because contracts, signing contracts can bring some kind of anxiety, some kind of excitement. So, but I would advise you, as you are reading, read everything, read even the smallest fine print that is printed into that contract. Do not leave any stone unturned. Make sure you read everything and make sure you understand every single thing. And this will be my advice for you. Whenever you're reading any contracts, make sure that any single thing that you do not understand, that you seek a legal advice. You call a lawyer, let him read it. And I promise you, they will be the ones to understand all the jargons and every single thing that has been written on that contract. Now, this is what happened to me according to my own experience. When my book was finally published and it was approved by the government, I was getting the attention of some publishers, who were trying to work with me so that to make sure that we publish more book, print more book and distribute across the country. So then that was the moment that I felt so much anxiety and this fear of what to do. My head was almost busting out because I was receiving all kinds of contracts and I did not want to make a mistake. What did I do then? That was when I hired a lawyer. So, and I invited this guy and he came and took the contract and dissected it, told me so many things about the contract and the way I would go about it. 3 contracts, 3 pieces of papers. So he looked at them and then told me what to do. At the end of the day, some of them who do not like what I was proposing, they had to reject what I was proposing, while some of them will still have to come in consultation with me. So that is contracts for you. Do not just go straight and sign what you do not know. You will sign yourself into bondage. You will sign yourself into slavery. Because I know a lot of celebrities, your famous people, most of them who have already signed their own death warrants, like in form of slavery, because they've signed out of hunger, they signed out of desperation without truly understanding what they are really going into. At the end of the day, they would turn back and be like, oh, I thought this meant this, but this is what it has turned to be, which is not really what they bargained for. So I will advise you that you read even to the smallest fine print, engage a legal advice, a lawyer that will help you. And also, thirdly, do not be really desperate in signing a contract, so that you will not put your future self in trouble. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your time and your efforts. If you really like the video, you like what we are doing, please click the like button and please subscribe. I will say it again, please subscribe to this channel, and I will still see you again in the next one. Thank you so much and peace.